Hello, and welcome to Does It Resonate With You, the thought provoking conversation show where your hosts, Angie of the ZXUH method and John the Tarot Geek, figure out what resonates with them while encouraging you to find what resonates with you. Let's get started. Hey, everybody, welcome to Does It Resonate With You? I'm so excited this week again because we've had some really great topics the last few shows. Actually, I can't really think of a topic I didn't enjoy that we had, but it seems like the listeners are liking some a little bit better than others. So I think this is going to be a really good one. The law of attraction, manifesting, what does it mean? What does that look like? Like, there's so much. We won't get all of it in one episode.
That's a huge topic.
Perhaps if it's as popular as some of the other ones, maybe we'll do another episode on it. So, John, and anyway, how are you?
Good. I just came back from vacation. And
how lovely is that? I'm going to tell you what it is here. The quickest way to get it to be cool in Illinois is get your pool open. We haven't had weather. We have not had weather to get in the pool since, whatever. What do you call that holiday? Memorial Day.
Yep.
Forget it.
So I was down.
Anyway, well, we had a couple of hot days, but.
Yep. I was down in Mammoth Caves.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the day we got there, it was 90 degrees outside. And as you walk towards the cave, it gets cooler and cooler and cooler. And when you get in the cave, it's like a constant 55 degrees or something like that.
Wow.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah, but I can imagine you show up there and it's in the 90s. Maybe you don't realize you want to carry a little jacket or something with you for 55.
We were prepared.
Although, if you're from where we're from, 55 feels considerably different than if you came from Florida.
Right.
Or what have you. Anyway, so let's move on to our subject, which is the law of attraction. I mean, so much about this. So many people, you hear all kinds of people talk about it. You've got this person saying this, and you got this person writing a book. And I mean, you could type in the top 10 books on law of attraction on Amazon and get, 10 different answers. And there's manifesting with the moon. So what actually is the law of attraction? Like, do you have a description?
I do. Could I read it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Here it is. The law of attraction is a universal principle that states that like attracts like. It suggests that the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs we hold have the power to attract corresponding experiences, circumstances, and people in our lives. According to this law, we are constantly emitting energetic vibrations that resonate with similar vibrations in the universe. By focusing our thoughts and feelings on what we desire, we can align ourselves with those experiences and manifest them into reality. The law of attraction emphasizes the power of positive thinking, visualization, and the belief that we are co-creators of our own experiences. It suggests that by consciously directing our thoughts and energy, we can attract abundance, success, happiness, and fulfillment into our lives.
Wow. I mean, that really sums it up right nicely.
We're done. We can just work this. That's it.
Right? I mean, okay. Moving on. No. But I mean, it does, like, to the extent I think that's probably the description we'll use for the video, right?
Sure.
But I think that there's a lot to unpack when it comes to all of this. So what do you, I mean, for me, this is for me, and we've kind of broken this up into 4 subcategories that we can have a little chat about to give you an idea of, what resonates with us when it comes to the law of attraction. So the very first one, I believe, is belief. Because if you don't believe in the law of attraction, forget it.
Right.
Is that really true, though? Like, if you resonate at a certain frequency, maybe you're going to attract what you attract. But the belief part comes in when you want to consciously create or attract what you want in your life.
Well, I
What
mean,
do you think about that?
let's look at it the other way. The energy of disbelief, like I don't believe that. I don't believe that. That's all BS, right? What kind of energy is that? That's down, that's way down here. That's skepticism. That's like confrontational. That's,
Yeah, for sure.
resistance, right? The whole energy of belief is up here with like bringing and enjoying and it's a lighter, happier, more joyous energy. So if you look at that whole scale, I'll pull that out sometime, that scale of those different levels of energy, you're going to realize that the energy of yes is up here, and the energy of no is down there.
Right, right. Now, yeah, I mean, even if you go use that one methodology to get yes and no, it's kind of like applied
Oh
kinesiology
yeah,
and
right,
those things. The one that's heavy and light, right?
right,
Light and expansive,
yes,
right? Heavy, heavy. So yes, light and expansive. No, heavy and dense,
right.
right? But just as you were talking about that, I thought about um how do I put it? The people who, let's say the millionaire, right? The millionaires, billionaires, people that make all this huge money, who aren't particularly spiritually inclined necessarily. I mean,
Hmm.
some aren't, but I think they all have one thing in common. They believe that they can do whatever it is they're going to do,
Hmm.
right? So even though they might be bad people, you see where I'm
Yeah,
going with it,
yeah,
right? Like, even though they may not be, like, they may be, you know what I'm trying to say, and I'm gonna
yeah.
leave it at that.
No,
But
I got
they
I got two
still
thoughts on
have
that.
that belief.
Yep. I have another thought on that too. I also think it's possible to force your way into wealth. I think people that are, you know,
Oh,
right? So the quote I remember is like, if you all you want to do is make $1 million, you can make $1 million. And in other words, if you have just this singular focus and to hell with everybody else, you can force your way into,
yeah,
right, and by suppressing or by controlling those below you, you can squeeze it out of people and make
yeah, you're
money.
right.
So I think there's a lot of people that are way up there in the wealth scale that have squeezed or that have forced their way into it. Now I also think that those are going to be the kind of people that crash and burn, or that end up being very angry people. And sure, they've got the dollar wealth, but the internal abundance isn't there.
Right, right. So the idea of abundance, their only idea of abundance is money,
Right. And to hell
right?
with everything
And
else.
everything, right? And I think, um belief is a big deal, and I think that belief, but what do you believe abundance is, I think, is important as well. So
Huge.
my idea of abundance could be very different from your idea of abundance. My idea of abundance is not having $1 billion in the bank. To me, that's a full-time job. I don't want a full-time job, like managing money, right?
Right.
Because if you don't manage that much money, if you are not hands-on managing that much money, right,
Hmm. It's gonna,
it's gonna poof. There
yeah,
is a poof,
yeah.
but it goes the other way. Poof doesn't come to you. Poof goes away, right? So
That's hilarious, actually.
I know, right? And that's because there are other people who have their hands in the pocket. So what can you do? You hear people say things like, and we've talked about this, I think, before, I just want enough to get by.
Mhm.
Or what is one of the things, like, one of the things I feel like people don't believe enough is that they deserve to be happy, fit, healthy,
Mm.
and abundant, right? They don't deserve it. So I think there's some attachment mechanisms for limiting beliefs that may be causing people to It seems like there are people who feel like everything is against them, and
Mhm.
and because it looks like everything is against them, but you want to tell them, but if you would stop saying that,
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
things might get better for you.
yeah, the example is the accident prone person, right? Oh, I'm accident prone, right? Right? And
Right.
it's the belief that you're accident prone, um,
Right.
that is it's self-fulfilling.
Unless, and there's a particular listener that will appreciate this, unless you have a guy that's trying to get your attention and they like to trip you. But that's an entirely different story altogether. And that
All
will
right.
resonate with only a couple of people I know, maybe with some of you other listeners out there. Um, but yeah, I have heard that more than once. So, but you're right. You're absolutely right. So why is it so much easier to believe that bad things can come to you than good? I mean, not me. I
No,
don't feel that
but
way.
I think humans tend to sink to the lowest level of that emotional scale.
Yeah.
I have I have a list on my screen here of the um, law of attraction emotional guidance scale, and I'll just read it at the bottom. There's anger, revenge, hatred, jealousy, insecurity, unworthiness is the second to last one, and then the last one is fear, grief, desperation, despair, and powerlessness. Right? That's the bottom of the emotional scale. As you go up, getting to the middle, there's pessimism, frustration, overwhelmment, and as you go even higher, you've got optimism, positive expectation and belief, enthusiasm, passion, and joy.
Yes. And joy, man, joy. It's really interesting. When you say positive expectation, I sort of forgot about that. I mean, I have positive expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
But I mean, you hear people say lower your expectations so you won't be disappointed. Like you
Yeah.
hear a
That,
lot of people say that.
that's
And
That's your childhood advice from elders and
yeah, right, probably. And I remember having a conversation with a friend and she said that. Well, I lower my expectations, so I'm not disappointed. I don't expect anything from this or that or whatever. And I said, no. I said, raise your expectations and encourage and demand that what comes to you rises to meet that level. And she thought about it for a minute and she said, okay. And about 2 weeks later, she said, you can't believe it. Everything I've put out there, everything every iron I put into the fire came back to me. Everything.
Oh,
I
wow.
changed the way I looked at it. I did what you said, and every iron I put, she was looking for opportunities to teach in places, and
Yep. Yep.
and she said, and then all of a sudden, what do they call that? Like an abundance, right? Like all of a sudden, you go from having nothing to having more than you can handle, whatever.
Overabundance.
Right. So every single iron she put in the fire just came back to her. And all it was this shift in the way she looked at things. And I thought, well, there you
Ooh,
go. I
that's
mean,
giving me chills. That's
you can't make it up, right?
right.
You can't
Yeah.
make it up. So,
That's beautiful.
how do we work on what we believe?
Well, so this is one of my favorite books on the power of attraction, the law of attraction. It's called The Power of Emotions. It's also by Esther and Jerry Hicks, who are the kind of the the big names in law of attraction. And the technique or the tool she uses, she says is, if let's say you're at the point of worry and doubt, right? You can't jump from worry and doubt all the way up to passion, enthusiasm, and joy, but you
Right.
can go from worry and doubt to what's right above that. Now I'm just disappointed. What's right about above that? Well, now I'm just overwhelmed. So if you can go from where you are to one step above, that that's where you want to be. And it's always what's just one step above. How can I get a little bit higher up on that scale?
Right. So, and for me, as an energy worker, there are so many things you can do to work on and release
Mm, yep.
limiting beliefs. And so I would really suggest well, booking a session with me, but besides that, it
Shameless
is,
plug is in 15 more minutes.
yeah, right. um, but the truth is, look at the idea of limiting belief. There are meditations you can do. There are all kinds of things. And so energetically speaking, if you can find and identify these things and release them, then you have something to focus on
Mm.
moving forward that you can work on for yourself. So that is the idea of belief. And now the next thing we have here is co-creation and alignment, meaning co-creation. We co-create with the universe, right?
Mhm.
So this is not and a lot of people, when they talk about manifesting in the law of attraction, they talk about wishes, and I love wishes. So, I mean, I what do you wish for dinner? Even I say to my husband. So
Mm.
I love wishes, so I'm okay with using the word wishes.
Huh.
But you make your list of wishes, but you don't just put that out into the universe and say, universe, I want a red Porsche. There's no way the universe is providing you with a red Porsche unless you take some kind of action, right?
True. Yep.
You have to enter a contest to win it, or you have to work for it and you have to buy it. So co-creation and then alignment, in my mind, there's so much about alignment, but an interesting, I'm working on Yasmin Boland's Moonology course, which is about manifesting with the cycles of the moon. So, and I'm all about energy, so that works. But the idea of, if you want to manifest a red Porsche, right? You can't go straight from, having nothing to a red Porsche. So maybe you need to manifest the bicycle. And then after you manifest the bicycle, and that puts you in a state, you manifest a used car. And then from there, you manifest, a lower end car. In other words, you do it in stages. So to me, co creation and alignment. And it occurred to me today when I was talking to my client. I have a manifesting client on Wednesday mornings. That people who win the lottery, right? They win all this money all at once. If you are working with co-creation and alignment, and we'll talk about vibration also in another part of this. If you are working in co-creation and alignment, you are adjusting your vibration a piece at a time so that your physical vibration can catch up with your etheric vibration.
Ah.
But if you actually win the lottery, which you can't really manifest, I don't believe you can manifest winning the lottery because it's a crapshoot, right? There's nothing energetic involved. It really is the luck of the draw, right? You win the lottery, you win, 460 million in the lottery. Well, now your vibration, the money, the abundance vibration is way up here, but your physical vibration is still down here. So now there's all this dissonance in the
Mm.
middle. And the first thing, not everyone, but many, the first thing they do is spend it as fast as they possibly can, right? Because they got to get rid of what is creating all this dissonance in their life. So,
Interesting.
I mean, I never really thought about it that way before, but there you go.
It's an energetic response to winning what they really can't handle.
Exactly. Because the truth is, when you hear somebody say, well, if I win the lottery, I'd retire. No, you won't. I mean, even if you have the money not to work at your particular job,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to manage that money. You still have to manage the things you buy with that money. You still have to, take care of your home. That it doesn't happen automatically. It's not magic. So you
Right.
still have to adjust your vibration to, and I guess we're in the co-creation and alignment thing, but you know, listen, folks, we are trying really hard this time to put things in order in a way that might help you a little more, but give us a little slack because we're just getting used to it now. So if we skip ahead, don't worry, we'll get
Right.
back to it. Um anyway, so co-creation, the universe, God, what do you think? Like, does the universe listen? Does the universe have a part in it? Or is it all you?
No, I'm 100% convinced the universe is working with you, right?
Hmm.
Um, if it's all up to me, then it's my ego, and I'm just going to mess it up.
Right? The ego is going to keep you small,
Yes, it's going to keep me small.
right? Because the ego wants to keep you safe, and the ego keeps you safe by keeping you where you are.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying you're small,
No, but
but
no, that's exactly the right way to look at it. Your ego wants to keep you small.
mhm.
Yep.
So, um, I know some really interesting people that do things like when they're uh, I know a lot of people that do energy work around manifesting. So visualization and sending energy, and there's a lot of really cool things that that you can do in the energy work world. But it's really funny because when you talk to people who do this kind of thing, me included, we always do something with our ego, something to distract it.
Yep.
So either binaural music, the Hertz
Yeah,
music,
yeah, yeah.
either that or literally ask your ego to take a vacation. I know somebody who puts her ego in a glass box, like, and there's enough intention behind that it does distract your mind
Hmm.
and get it out of your way, right? That's why I really like the binaural music or the music for people who are new to it, because it engages the brain in a way that that your ego is like, oh, okay,
Like, oh, I got something to do here, guys.
something to do, yeah. And then you can get into the creative sparks and
Yeah.
the etheric world kind of on your own.
I've got something on a visualization board. I'm not sure if that's appropriate now or on a later.
Whatever.
All right. So,
It's our show, so whatever.
damn it all, it's my show. So, um, years ago, I did a visualization board, and I had a bunch of things on there: a house, a car, like there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm pretty sure it was all like physical stuff or services that I wanted, right? And I was really working on visualizing and so on. And I did that a while, and as I'm really good at, I work on something a while, and then it just kind of gets put away because I get distracted and so on. And I pulled that out 3 or 4 years later after I'd been well along in my spiritual journey. And here's what I realized. I was like, oh, you know what? That big house, I don't want that anymore. I want
Right.
and that
Right.
fancy car, no, I don't want that either. I'm happy with the car I have. And it reminded me of something I read in one of Deepak Chopra's books, where he said, as you move along in your spiritual journey, one of the things that happens is a lot of that physical stuff that you thought would make you happy, you realize, no, I don't really need that
All
anymore.
right.
And as I was just amazed looking at my vision board, I'm like, don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. Yeah, maybe that one would still be good. And this one I already got, and that one I got. So it was
Isn't that
a
interesting?
combination of stuff that I no longer cared about and a combination of stuff that I had just accomplished along the way.
Well, I mean, and part of the conscious, so, you've got co-creation alignment. So if you're going to do conscious co-creation with the universe, part of that is checking in. And that's why I'm really interested in and we'll have to have a conversation about manifesting with the moon between what
Ooh,
I'm learning and what you
yeah,
have. We'll do an episode on manifesting with the moon after I finish though.
good.
Um, but part of that process is looking at your wish list and reevaluating it
Hmm.
and it's really interesting because I think we said this in the spiritual entrepreneurship episode. And if we didn't, we should have. What you think it's going to look like when you put your first foot on the path is not anything like what it's going to look like, a few miles down the road. It
Mm,
just isn't.
yep,
It's always more or different or better. It's never worse,
right.
you
You have to
know.
be. You have to be willing to let go of what you think the result looks like.
Never, this is it. Never be attached to a particular outcome.
Love
Never
it.
be attached to a particular outcome. So, yeah, I mean, co-creation and then alignment. You have to really align with what it is that you want. So if you think about manifesting, and manifesting is the law of attraction,
Hmm.
right? It is. They're not two things, it's the same
Right.
thing. So manifesting is actually figuring out what you want and then adjusting your vibration to match it. So, figuring out what you want and moving into alignment with whatever it is.
Hmm.
An easy example is if you want to manifest an open door, you need to you need to move in alignment to open the door. You're not just going to think and the door is going to, although wouldn't that be freaking awesome? You have to adjust your vibration to match it. So by adjusting your vibration, I mean, you need to stand up, you need to walk to the door, you need to turn the handle, and you need to open the door. You have changed your vibration because you're no longer sitting where you were sitting. Now you are over. And it's a simple way to put it, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
It's a
it
good
makes
analogy,
sense,
though.
right? So you have to align. Before we move on, and will let's finish this one up because we'll do shameless plugs right after this. I think one of the big pieces of it is visualizing.
Hmm.
I mean, and you said it, you had a visualizing board. For me, and I didn't realize I was doing it. I've been manifesting my whole life. I didn't know that's what it was. But I remember I always used to think, like, when I would get something that I thought about or something that I wanted, like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Like you know, I wanted a Saturn car so bad, so bad. I used to see them and I would see myself driving that. And son of a gun, if I haven't had three of them,
Huh.
you know,
Yep.
I mean, the first one, it just seemed like it just sort of fell into our lap. The first one, we had to buy it. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a gift, but it was just the right place, the right time, the right
Yep.
vehicle
Yep. And there
at
it
that
is.
particular
Yep.
moment. So, you have to visualize it. You have to see it. I always say one of the most important parts of manifesting is research.
Hmm.
If you want a new home, look at the market, do your research, look,
Right.
look,
Right.
look, look,
Right.
right?
Be
You
in
want a
that.
new car, same
Yeah.
thing.
Be in that vibe, in that
You
environment.
if you want to manifest a vacation, look at the travel sites, look at, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
visualize
Yeah.
and really, and we've said this before. So as you visualize, you want to connect with the energy of what it is that you're trying to manifest. That is a piece that a lot of coaches don't tell you, but I'm going to tell you it supercharges it, right?
Hmm.
You connect with the energy, you imagine it, you see it, make yourself a representation of it. Maybe it's in a sphere, or maybe it's just, a house in the palm of your hand, and then feel the energy of it and
Hmm.
allow that, to make its way into your heart, because I believe everything is done from the heart.
Yep.
And just so you can connect to and feel the vibration of what it is. Imagine yourself sitting in that house. Imagine yourself sitting in that pool. What does it feel like? Connect to the energy of it.
Yep. You know,
Really important.
right along the same lines of that, one of the things that they always describe is act as if you already have it, right?
Mhm.
So you act as if you're already in the house, act as if you're already in that pool. So to your
Right,
point exactly.
right. So that the stuff catches up with you, right?
Yep.
So because you're putting your etheric self, right? You're putting your etheric self in that situation already, because that's what you're doing, right? You're
Ah. Ah.
you're you're visualizing it, you're meditating on it, whatever. You put your etheric self there, let your physical self catch up. And I'm going to say this in this segment anyway, because I think, and I don't remember, I read the quote, I don't remember who said it. I want to say maybe it was Wayne Dyer, but I'm not positive. Many people quit right before they're about to get what it is they wish for.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Like,
think that is. I think that was
like
Wayne Dyer.
I think it's Wayne Dyer, but stick with it. Don't give up, because people give up right before they're going to get what they, what right before they were going to get it. Right before, like, just never ever give up. If you change what you want, that's a different story.
That's different.
But
Yep.
never give up. Never give up on it, because as long as you have it in your mind, in your vision, connected to the energy, you can have it. But you have to align with it. You got to do the work to get there. So, all right, look at 30 minutes, shameless plug time.
Bada bing.
I'm going to be quick. Just check out my YouTube channel, Angie ZXUH. Easy. Please go over there and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. I'm doing weekly energy reports. So I'm not gonna do a card of the day. That got really hard to do. Who knew? I don't know what I was thinking. But so instead I'm reading the energy of the week, and I'm using that rune spread that I love so much.
Oh, cool.
Overview, action, challenge. What is it all about the week? What do you need to do? And what is the universe challenging you to do? That's the way I see that one. I think they mean challenge, meaning what is going to be challenging for you, but I don't like that. So I changed it, the
Mhm.
intention of it. What is the universe challenging you to do? So last week, let go, right? Relax, let go of stuff, because new things are coming, which is all over everywhere. I just heard Bradley pulled the dreamer card today,
Oh, cool. So
the
same
day
thing.
after I released mine.
Yep.
So there
All
you
right.
go.
Well, you're
Anyway,
both reading
okay.
the same energy, so it
Right.
stands to reason.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
You can't make the stuff
No.
up.
Mm-mm.
Okay, what about you? You ought to be
Um,
darn close to having a book out in the world, aren't you?
yeah. So this week the book goes to the publisher. I'm publishing through Balboa, and they're going to have it. We're going to go back and forth for hopefully not more than a month of tweaking this and rereading that and blah blah blah. So I am planning tomorrow to send that off to the publisher, and a month from today, mid-July, I should have it ready to go.
Awesome sauce.
Yes, it's
That's amazing.
woowobook.com if you want to take a look at it and get a free chapter.
Perfect. All right. Well, now let's turn off the shameless plug. There we go. Now, one of my favorites, gratitude and vibration. I'm all over this, right? Like, so why is gratitude important?
It is the one, I think it's the one vibration that you can get to no matter what.
Oh, that's great.
No matter what,
Right? No matter what your circumstances are, you can
you
be
can find
grateful.
something to be grateful for.
Wow. That's really outstanding. I mean, that is, yeah, like no matter what, gratitude is available to you.
Yes, that's a better way of
Wow.
saying it. Yep.
Okay. Like, and if you really look at the book, like the book The Secret, or
Yeah.
really any of the law of attraction teachers, I have it around here somewhere too. Actually, I think it's, or it might be in my car. When I take my husband for treatment, I read in the car.
Oh, nice.
Because I sit in the parking lot.
Hmm.
Anyway, it's like, simply put, be sure to vibrate at the frequency of gratitude, because that will attract more for you to be grateful for, right?
Hmm.
Like,
This is such a good reminder for me, Angie. I know all this stuff, but
I know, right?
just
I
saying it
know,
now, it's like, you know what? That explains the last 2 months of my life that were just kind of wonky, and just right there, gratitude. Yeah.
right? Because
Yep.
you have so much to be
Yeah.
grateful for, right? So
Yeah.
I have so much. I mean, I have a lot of things that are challenging. I
Hmm.
I truly, truly do, but I have so much more to be grateful for.
Yep.
And as I look at my life, as I lay my life in a roll out in front of me or behind me, however you want to put it, I can see that the more I came to understand the idea of gratitude, the better my life got. Um, and for me, everything is always okay. Everything always turns out. I am not trying to brag. I believe
Yeah.
everything always turns out. Sometimes things look wonky.
Hmm.
They always turn out, you know. I mean, there's it has involved bankruptcy. It has involved, things that are hard, but still okay.
Yep.
Like still
What you know what? One of
okay.
my favorite quotes, and I think this wraps it up a little bit. The quote goes something like, "Everything will turn out all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end."
That's brilliant, right? I love
Yeah,
that.
isn't that great? That
I
just makes
love
you
that.
realize, just keep going. You're gonna, it's gonna be there
And
for
it
you.
is. And I know that there are people out there and even listening maybe who are really
Yep.
struggling with it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I understand that and I know that. And I mean, I was that the single mom without a home, staying with a friend with two kids and food stamps and the whole thing. And that's weird. Did you see that?
No, is there something?
My camera shifted or something. That was bizarre. Um, anyway, yeah, I don't know. That was really weird.
Hmm.
Anyway, I am that person, right? And the thing was I always believed that it was going to be okay, no matter what. I
Yep.
always believed it, even when it was really hard. Even when at 16 years old, the police showed up to tell us my mother was gone. Even when that happened, even when my dad moved us into an apartment and moved
Mm.
in with his girlfriend when my brother and I were less than 18. Even when my brother lit that apartment on fire because he left a pot of oil for French fries
Oh my gosh.
going, and we lost everything. Like I had no
Wow.
clothes, I had no nothing. 18 years old, nothing. I had nothing. And
Wow.
people rose up and helped. So I know it's hard out there. I know it is. And I know it's particularly hard maybe now. And I know it sounds, what is the word? Trite
Trite. Yep.
to say, believe that it's going to be okay. But I'm telling you, this is crucial that you believe that it's okay. It may not get easier in the moment, but in the long run, it will get better. I promise you.
Can
I
I can I
promise
read
you.
can I read something that really?
Absolutely.
So this is from one of the mediums that I follow, um, and here's what she said. You're well familiar with a television series. They tend to end in cliffhangers that keep you coming back for the next episode, even though you know it's all a story. This is the most excellent way to view your life experience from the soul's perspective without becoming too attached to the events and things that comprise of your life. Once you realize you're a soul playing a role, you can enjoy your possessions and experiences without getting knocked off balance by the cliffhangers. Will I get the new job? Will I overcome this illness? Those are experiences of the role, but not the whole you. So, in a sense, if you kind of view your life as a TV program with a cliffhanger, if you know you're just in the story and it's going to be okay, you don't have to get so involved in the panic or the stress of that cliffhanger.
Isn't that interesting? Because I've always really, well, I can put myself in stories,
Yeah.
right? That's one of the reasons is it's one of the reasons I do what I do now because I had that ability. Like I told you, I stopped reading Stephen King after The Shining because my imagination is too vivid. Um, but it's really, you know, I don't know. Maybe this is the way you come here, with the particular vibration. I recall over the years, I spent 20 years as a server, as a food server
Yeah.
and a bartender. And I remember, and I've walked into restaurants, like on the weekend with no training and just moved right in and handled it without a problem. And I remember an owner of one of the restaurants that I worked at said, I don't understand. You don't rattle. I said it's a waste of time. Getting
Yes.
rattled is a waste of
Stressing
time.
over stuff. Yep.
Right. And, I mean, when it was like crazy busy and you didn't know what the heck, you can only do what you can do. That's it. You can only do what you can do. You can stretch the limits of your abilities. There are things you can do more for
Hmm.
short bursts
Hmm.
and short periods of time, but you can only do what you can do. So if you do that and you always operate with the idea that everything is going to be okay, and with the idea that everything with the intention that everything that you do is comfortable and appropriate for all concerned, and that you don't step on somebody's head to get where you want to go, it's going to be okay.
Yep.
The minute you start messing around in things, I hate to use the word stealing, but like things like that, then all of a sudden now you're sinking your vibration, and any progress you made, I think,
Yep.
tanked,
There's
right?
another
Okay.
aspect of that that I want to bring up, and that is the internal resistance to what's happening. So what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you, so this is from, yeah, I want another one of my favorite voices out there. If you are suffering, and then you are angry or you're resisting what's happening, you suffer twice. Ooh, there we are. Internal resistance. Perfect. Boy, couldn't have planned that better. You
Yeah.
suffer twice, once for the initial suffering, and the second time by resisting, by saying, this should not be. If you are willing
Oh,
to
yeah.
not resist what's happening and just say, it is, then you only have to suffer once, and then it dissipates.
That's amazing. So the screen did it again, by the way. I don't really know what's happening, but you can
Well,
hear me okay and everything,
yep.
right?
And on this side, you look fine.
Okay, excellent. It's bizarre. I'll have to watch the video back and see like 40 minutes. I'll have to. Okay, I know but it's just weird. Anyway, I never like I think about, I mean, I get it. I guess maybe I never put them in the same sentence,
Mm-hmm.
but the idea of, I mean, if you look at it, that internal resistance applies to a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
like grief. People have internal resistance. Grief has its own timeline, okay? So I don't want any emails. But people have internal resistance to letting go, but what they're really resistant to let go of is the person that they're grieving, right?
Right.
But because they don't want, happened again, because they don't want to let go of that person, they're not moving through that process. So they're suffering more, just like you're saying.
Yes.
They're suffering twice because they're suffering when it happened, and now they're
Now they're
suffering
suffering
again
because of the
because they won't let
resistance.
it go. Wow. Like that's big.
I got to say, that right there was the biggest life changing idea that has ever occurred for me. That right there is that you suffer twice when you resist what happens.
Wow.
When I learned that, I'm like, well, then getting angry at stuff is such a waste of effort and time and energy,
Right.
and it just made everything easier.
And that takes us to the next topic,
Jeez,
surrender, right? Which, I mean,
right?
that's it,
That is
surrender. So, if any manifesting teacher or any law of attraction coach that you listen to, which PS you can become a law of attraction coach for about $20 on Udemy, but it's not a bad thing to do. It's a
that's funny.
really great way if you find if you find one that resonates with you, it's a
Hmm.
really great way to start understanding the concepts. Like there's nothing wrong with learning things on Udemy, to be honest. Although I'm not entirely sure I can appreciate, Reiki Master for $40. But
Or become a tax consultant for $20.
oh my God, please don't even say that. Um, anyway, if if you listen to any of them, they all say surrender to the process, right? surrender. So that this is exactly what you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
If you are in resistance, you are not in surrender. You just aren't.
Right,
You can't
right.
have both.
Those two
You
are
can't,
opposed.
like, totally. So, it's what's interesting is that, and I never realized it. Some, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe even a little bit more, as I was doing my work and the meditations I do and everything, I came up with this tagline: visualize, align, surrender.
Yep.
And I had no idea when I put that out there. I mean, for me, that's, we're going to do a meditation about releasing a childhood hurt, let's say, right? Visualize that child, align with the vibration of the child without the hurt, and then surrender to the process. So that's what visualize. Oh, it did it again. Visualize, align, surrender meant at the time. But now, as I'm taking this course, it's the same thing. These are big parts of any manifesting course. Visualize, do the research, see yourself with it, feel yourself with it, connect to the energy of it, right?
Hmm.
Then make your actions align with it. If you are trying to, if you are trying to manifest financial abundance, right?
Hmm.
You cannot be the person who takes your paycheck every week and drives straight over to the boat and puts it all in the in the gambling boat,
Sure. Yep.
because those are
Mm.
absolutely opposite. They are the polarity. So what you're doing is you're experiencing abundance by experiencing its polarity, which is lack, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
have to be really careful. So visualize, align with what you want, and then surrender to the process. Let go of that internal resistance. That's brilliant. I mean,
It was literally life changing for me. Literally life
that is
changing.
amazing,
Yep.
really.
Yep.
That is amazing. You can't really, I mean, you can't really argue with it, right? Like,
No,
y-
it's kind of it's one of the Buddhist fundamentals, I'll say, but it's harder to understand it when you're just kind of listening to it in the abstract. When you take it personally, like I'm angry at so and so because they did this, you're suffering twice, right? And when you realize that they did this to me, I suffered. I'm remaining angry and resisting this, you're suffering again. And some people, that second level of resistance or the second level of suffering goes on for years,
right. And
right?
so, and I think that, because we didn't even get anywhere near the idea of universal laws. And so there are the 12, there's
Yep.
another set of three. But I think what you're talking is actually, um, the law of correspondence.
Mm,
The external world is a reflection of our internal state. Our thoughts and beliefs create our reality. So if we are hanging on so hard to that hurt, what are we going to attract for ourselves?
hurt.
More of the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So you have to surrender. You have to let go. You have to. Um, I mean, it's just like that person who said, I just want enough to get by. And
Hmm.
I'm telling you, that's all she had for a very long time.
Right.
Just enough to get by.
Yep.
I never, and whenever I say some things like that, I kind of want to feel the need to say, but I don't mean me.
Right. Right. No.
you know,
Just
this is
making
for the
sure.
talk show. But I mean, there's just so much, um, so many ways we as humans make it hard for ourselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of ways that we, I guess I'll put it in quotes, but do it wrong. And one of the ways is um, being real tied to the outcome. It's got to be this way. And one of the other ways is hanging on to stuff that really needs to get let go.
Which, by the way, is all over the readings for the past couple of weeks. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. What are you going to let go of so that you can create something new? And that is, and it's not just me. It's not just me and my readings. I'm hearing it in other people who read
Yep.
and seeing it, and other people who read the energy. So
Yep.
the energy right now is there for you to take whatever you need to let go of and let go of it so that you can rest and experience renewal.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it for everybody, but you have to. Nobody likes the idea of surrender, though, do they? Everybody wants to have control,
Yeah. It's funny. It's the thing that it's kind of what makes the whole process hard, right? Oh, I have to put my intention out there and then let go. Well, that's counterintuitive, right?
I know, right? Because you feel like you really need to be the one to nurture it. And
Yep.
it's interesting because on one hand, we're saying you need to take action, but on the other hand, we're saying you need to let it go and do its
Yeah.
thing, right?
it's
So,
it's a very
yeah,
interesting interplay between those two things.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
you've hit on the confusion and the hard part of this, I think.
Yeah, I think you're
Of
right.
Yeah. Just say that one more time because that was profound.
Oh, damn.
Okay,
No,
well,
I don't. I don't say that
okay.
stuff.
All right. So basically it's wanting to put the intention out there and then let it go as opposed to I need to dictate exactly where we
Right.
need this thing to
Right.
go.
I mean, we're all as humans control freaks, are we not?
Yeah, that's the ego.
That is because keeping it safe. I mean, I have separation. Are you kidding? I like have, um, and I don't know if anybody else in the world does this, but when I put something in the mail, like if I like, we have a local store that gives 11% rebates when you buy stuff.
Hmm.
So you have to have the receipt, the part of the receipt in there. You have to have this little form in the envelope. They still do it old school,
Huh.
probably because they figure not everybody will mail it in, right?
Right.
But I mean, it is very traumatic for me to put that in the mailbox. Like, I have to be very careful. I put this in, I put this in,
You get
I
the
put this
stamp
in the
on. You make
envelope.
sure the address is correct.
So to manifest that $5.82 of Menard's money is a very big struggle for me to surrender and let it go. But once I do it, I'm like,
Hmm.
so I'm going to tell you there is relief in surrender.
Ooh, oh, that's good.
Right?
Wow.
There is relief in
That
surrender
that's
because
really
when
good.
you're holding on to it, and you're holding on to something so tight, you think about it. You draw your body up and
Yeah.
like squish yourself all together and
Yep.
everything, but then you let go, and then all of a sudden you relax.
Yeah.
And it seems like something so small for such a lesson for me, but a great lesson. There is relief in surrender. That just came to me now, by the way. So this is
That's interesting. Yeah.
a
Yeah, I
great
guess.
conversation.
Yep. Yep. Same thing along the lines of when I realized that I was, I could let go of that suffering, suddenly it was just relief.
Yeah, right. And really, you let go of the suffering. You surrendered. You
Exactly.
surrendered to the universe. So
Precisely.
there's
Yep.
relief.
Yep.
And I'll bet you anyone you talk to who has a similar experience, if you said there's relief and surrender, they would say the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it put out there that way, but
Yep.
that's it,
I can
right? Like,
feel it right now that the
oh, thank you.
yeah.
That's amazing. Golly, I cannot believe that we went through nearly the whole hour again already. So listen, folks, before we move on to tarot time, I want to tell you next week we're going to do something really exciting.
Hmm.
And we're going to do it recorded this time. We both have some new decks. So I've got something by Kyle Gray. I got another one by Kyle Gray. The Gateway Light Activation, and I've got Angels and Ancestors. I got to tell you, the energy of this deck is amazing.
Sweet.
And we both have this little,
It's
this little magic 8 ball in a box deck.
it's
I think
cute
it's adorable. It's an
and it
adorable little
works.
deck. John's got a couple of decks too, and we're gonna unbox decks. We're gonna do some readings. We're gonna, like play with the cards. We're gonna have another episode where we play with the cards.
Yep.
So we're gonna kind of show you our uh our process for unboxing a deck, like mine's probably different than yours because
Yeah, yeah,
I'm a crazy energy worker,
right.
but it's all good. Like, I want you to know there's no right or wrong way to do it, whatever way works for you. So we're going to do that. Now take this down. Let's chat at doesitresonatewithyou.com. If you have a question you'd like to ask, send it to us in the email or drop a comment on this video, and we will we'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can
Yeah,
while we're unboxing these decks. So I think that'll be great fun. I'm looking forward to it. I
me
love playing
too.
with the decks.
I
I
know,
mean,
me
I
too.
took the fair warning, this one is unboxed. I'm going to leave the other one in the plastic.
All
We don't
right,
want to, you don't need to see us do more than one unboxing a piece.
right.
But when I took this out, the energy of this deck is absolutely incredible. So
Cool.
it's going to be a great episode. Now it's tarot time.
All right.
What a great conversation we had about this.
This
I
was
mean, this
amazing. This is
was
one of my
really a
favorite
great
topics.
conversation. And we
Seriously.
will we will I think we'll do a whole episode about the universal laws.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good
And
idea
that might
because there's a
actually
lot of
turn
them.
out to be two, but I mean, if we go with the 12, that there's a lot.
Right.
But
Unless we like zip through them.
yeah, well, we're not good at
We're not
zipping.
good at
I'll
that.
just say
No.
that. Anyway,
Okay.
okay, what have we got for
All right.
tarot
Today's
time this week?
card is the Queen of Wands. So,
Ooh,
yes. First of all, the wands are about action, right?
well,
So
I'm all over action.
that's right. This would, you know what, Angie? This might be a significator for you because you are all about action, and the queen is like the divine feminine energy. So
Ah,
I that just kind of occurred to me now. This might be the Angie card. Let me read what I have here, and you tell me if this resonates with you. So the Queen of Wands, think funny and warm, but also does not suffer fools, and so don't cross her.
oh no, that's nothing like me. Oh my God, I'm the Queen of Wands.
I think that just funny that just happened now, right?
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yes,
Like, because I don't have that framework, I don't have that in the back of my mind. Like, I
right,
really, when I pick a significator, I just draw a card. But
right,
that is me.
yep,
Like, I am the Queen of Wands. Well,
right.
you asked for me to have an
Oh my
opportunity to
gosh.
wear my crown, so
Oh
I'm going to
wow.
put it on.
That is that that is cool. Man,
Yep,
I want one now.
right? You can get them on Amazon. They're not that
Okay. All right.
expensive.
All right. So
Anyway,
back to the card. Another phrase I want to kind of go around is like the Queen of Wands is not going to shame you, but she's not going to let you be a jerk either. So, right? It's
yeah.
like, hey, I'm not going to call you out and embarrass you, but you need to settle down, or you need to come, you need to stop what you're doing and pay attention. So again, does not suffer fools, so don't cross her. The mantra in the Light Seers Tarot. So I like the Light Seers Tarot. I'll read the mantra. It's a little different than the vibe we're going for. Here's the mantra. I fill my world with an intense light that connects insights and passions. So that's kind of the joy and passion and the funny and the warm part of it. And then the thing I want to add to it is that don't cross her. She does
Now
not
you
suffer
done.
fools.
Nope. Nope. Yeah.
So that is our
You
that
know
is our
what? You
Queen
know
of
what my
Wands.
motto is? You never play games with someone unless you know whether or not they play better than you. I play
Yeah,
better. And I've been saying this for decades. I play better.
that's cool. So there you go.
That's
That's
me. I
almost
am the Queen of
of
Wands.
Wands.
I'm
This
gonna have to find a Queen of Wands and hang it up.
You get a poster of that.
Exactly.
You know what? When I learn cards, when I as I've learned tarot through the years, what's been really helpful for me is to have a story that goes along with particular cards. And from this point on, the story is going to be this is the Angie card. And I'll immediately see that and
Yes.
know what to say to the person I'm reading for.
Wow.
It's solidified that 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 the energy of that card for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even believe just by your description, you're absolutely right. I am the Queen of Wands. That's amazing. Why, thank you. Who knew tarot time was going to be like everything is all about me. No, I'm just kidding. Tarot time that is tarot time. Okay, so let's take like 1 minute at the end here and tell people what a significator card is.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you heard it
Yep.
represents the person, but you can choose a significator, right?
Yep.
But you can all like the way I do it, I just pull one for, like to represent me in a reading if I'm
Right.
doing something like that.
Yep.
So, is there a way that's preferable or
Well,
like
let me say it this way. Some certain kinds of spreads require that you put your significator in the spread. It kind of like identifies this is me and these are the things that I'm talking about, or these are the things that are going to happen, right? So you pull your significator, and if you're reading for someone, the first part of that reading is like, let's find a card that represents you, and so that person gets a significator. The other thing that can happen is during a reading, if your significator comes out, you're going to realize, oh, this is talking to me right here, and it pulls you into the reading.
Okay, that makes sense. So you could actually have like, let's say if you're working on some kind of a family dynamic, you could
Yes,
have significator cards for all the people involved.
right. And
Like,
suddenly
so
you pull this
if you were
card.
reading for let's say I were reading for you, and you would say, I'm having I don't know. I would like to go into business with my parents. So we could find a significator for you, a significator for that, each of them,
Yep.
and then we could create a spread or do a spread that involved all of that,
Right. Correct.
right?
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, oh, that makes so much sense. And you could get your significator from one deck and use another deck to do the reading, so you've got a
Yes.
complete deck.
Yes.
Oh, there's like so many possibilities. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm the Queen of Wands. I
Yes, you
love
are.
it. Oh, that's amazing. I can't believe one of these days we'll go under an hour, but I don't know when, ever, really.
You know what?
It doesn't matter. It's all good.
It's all free. So
Yeah, right? So anyway, thank you so much. This was such a great conversation.
yep.
Thank you folks for listening. If you've listened all the way, which I don't know if everybody does, but I hope you do, some of you at least. Please, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to our next goal, which is
Yep.
100.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a little bit more than halfway there. And if you wouldn't mind sharing the channel with your friends and inviting them to have a listen too, we'd really appreciate it. So there you go. This was Does It Resonate With You? And we hope you found something that did. Have a great week, John.
Thanks. You too, Angie. It's been
All
great.
right. And you all have a great week yourselves. We'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, next week, card decks.
Thank you for listening to Does It Resonate With You? The thought-provoking conversation show with your hosts, Angie of the ZXUH Method and John the Tarot Geek. Please help us out by clicking the subscribe button here on the YouTube channel. We appreciate your support.